Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint, the only West Ham United post-match football show on the internet. We've just come back from where did we come back from? London Stadium.
Well, I just come back from my settee.
Where it was West Ham 2, virtually, of course. West Ham 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Scott, take us through the starting lineup.
One change, really, wasn't it? So Fabianski in goal, Soufal right back, Dawson and Ogbonna in the centre, Creswell left back, Rice and Soucek with Bowen, Lanzini and Benrahma just in behind Mikel Antonio.
Absolutely. Not a pretty performance, I must say.
Nah, I thought we dominated a lot of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm not getting a lot. I mean, yeah, it wasn't pretty, but I think that was more down to West Brom than us. But I thought we dominated for long spells in that game.
Great. As we used to say back in the clubhouse, it was a Jody Marsh performance. Not pretty, but you take it. Now, look, I'm with you, Gray. I mean, there's a lot of people saying it wasn't a great performance. It was a performance tonight that showed us how to try to break a team down. You know, because West Brom had 10 behind the ball for most of the game, and we was just trying to unlock that defence. And it was difficult. It was difficult at times.
Well, I thought we'd done a better job of breaking down West Brom. I think we got in behind them a little bit more than we did against Stockport.
100%. That was it. There was a lot of remnant, like a lot of similarities between the way West Brom set out, the way Stockport set out, and the way Burnley set out. And I'm with you, Gray. I thought we got behind them a lot easier and a lot better than what we did with than we did against Stockport. And I think that's why Moyes brought in Lanzini and dropped Fornals to try and get the ball on the floor and try and move it a bit quicker and a bit better. And I'll be honest, when we got the ball moving, we looked very, very good going forward. But it was when we started slowing the game down, that's when we allowed West Brom back into it.
I think the first 15 minutes, it was sloppy from both teams, really, trying to work each other out. We was trying to get on the ball, but they was breaking up play. But once we got our foot on the ball, especially going down the left as well, Creswell, Benrahma, who found himself. See, players like Benrahma, I'd rather see him more in central, but he was drifting out. I think what I've seen from today's game is that I don't think Lanzini and Benrahma can play together. They're too similar. I think Fornals, he offers something different when Benrahma plays. He does the running and the dog work, while Benrahma does, he tries to create things. I just think Lanzini and Benrahma just kept getting in each other's way in the first half.
I think that's lack of game time together. Do you know what I mean? Like they're still working on the chemistry of each other's games. I get what you're saying. They run into the same holes and they're very similar type players. Obviously, Benrahma seems to have more of a trickier feat than what Lanzini has. Yeah. But I just think it's just lack of game time together. And, there's so much you can learn off a player on the training ground, but in a game when you've got being marked by different players, a bit more physical, it's a bit harder to learn how another player plays. You get that. Sometimes you get players who have instant chemistry and they link up really well. I just think with them two, it'll take a bit of time, but I can see what Moyes is trying to do.
I think it developed nicely though. Give him a bit of time. I think it could develop nicely.
Yeah, Benrahma's getting frustrated now because he's desperate to score. We said this on the last post-match pint. He's desperate to score now. I think once he does get that goal, you'll see a different sort of player in Benrahma. He's just at the moment he's trying too much. And he creates things. He looks like he always wants the ball. He doesn't shy away, which is good.
He's got to get up to speed in the Premier League.
But he hasn't started many games, has he?
You can shout from the rooftops all you like about, start him. But that's why he looks ineffective in these games. These are the games that he's got to get used to. These are the games that come thick and fast. It's all right, punching around against Man City and Chelsea who are not going to get physical. But these are the teams where the players that are coming up from, the Championship that are going to find it a little bit difficult when players are as physical as they are in the Championship, but a little bit faster and a little bit, a bit more quality about them. That's where they're going to struggle. Like let's be honest, Big Sam made it very tough tonight, and we wasn't expecting nothing else. Like, he's gonna always, make them two banks very solid, get everyone behind the ball, make it difficult for you to play, and that's where I'm impressed, because we broke them down, and we scored the goal. It took to half time, and we was quite fortunate to get that goal. It was a good move. It was a great cross by Benrahma, put back across brilliantly by Soucek, and I don't think we do that enough. We don't drill them balls into the box enough to see what might happen. We haven't done that for a long time, but it was a good goal. But they are going to make it very, very difficult to play. I thought second half wise, I think it was a bit unfortunate that they got that goal so early, because we just switched off. It was a poor goal to concede. We just switched off. We didn't get out the traps like we normally do. But I think if we'd have kept them for another 5 minutes and they hadn't, they would have started coming forward a bit more, and the game would have opened up a bit more, and it would have been a little bit easier. But it is what it is. It is what it is. They're the games. These two last games are the games in the past that we go and concede an equaliser and don't get a goal back, or go, worse off, we go and concede a second and we lose the game. We've seen it many, many times. Moyes is getting us resilient. He's getting us, even when we're not playing the best football, we're still winning games. We need to take our chances a little bit more.
And this is exactly what I said months ago about David Moyes. I could see what he was trying to do back then. Some people didn't want to give him a chance to stick with him, and he's getting his rewards now. And it showed, like when he made that double substitution in the 60th minute. He brought on Yarmolenko and Fornells. He's not afraid to do that. He used to get slated for making late subs, and he used to do that. But now he's seeing things happening, and he's changing it straight away. And
I think they was two very, very smart substitutions.
Yeah, they had to happen. They had to happen because Benrahma, for me, was drifting out of the game, and so was Lanzini. Lanzini had that big chance just before he went off.
Yeah, they was getting bullied out the game. And what does Fornells and Yarmolenko bring? They bring a bit of physicality, and that's what I'm saying about this David Moyes team, and that's what I'm saying about the Burnleys and the West Broms. We're not a team that can get pushed around anymore. When the going gets tough, we've got the players and the physicality and the work rate to fucking get tough with it. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we're also becoming a team that we know how to see out a game now. We've proved that many a times this season that we can see out a game. But for me, Bowen in the first half, great play. Running up and down, does what he always does. It was a typical Bowen performance, and I'm so pleased that he's got a goal tonight because he's been desperate for one. He hasn't scored for a little while now, and what a finish! As you said, great ball in from Benrahma. Soucek, first time volley back across, and what a great finish from Bowen off his chest.
Nice bit of improvisation.
Yeah, quick thinking.
But what I'm really, you think for years we was always a little bit suspect defending set pieces, and we never really done anything with them when we was attacking them. But now we look solid defending them, and we look every time we put a set piece in the box, we look like we're going to get something from it.
Yeah, because we've got players now in that box that can win headers. And not only have we got Ogbonna and Dawson now, we've also got Soucek and Rice that drop back in now. So when these teams are putting the balls in the box, we're usually the first ones to get the head on the ball. And that's another. It was another great performance tonight from Declan Rice once again. Unlucky not to score on a couple of occasions.
I thought he was excellent tonight.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the control of them shots that he's having, they're not quite going in, but I'm telling you now, to keep him down like he does, that's world class midfield play. It is, honestly, because you never see him have a wild strike at a ball. It's always controlled. Things always controlled.
I don't know. I see him hit one wild at the end of the game today.
Yeah, but definitely. But everything's always so controlled with him. I'm telling you, people that don't, fans of other clubs that don't rate him and don't think he's worth the money. I'm telling you, we had this discussion during the watch along. He's priceless. to us because there's no amount of money that we could bring in that would ever be able to replace him. There's just not them type of players out there. He's the best for me. He's the best in this league at what he does. He's so controlled. He's still learning the game. He's got so much in front of him, but he was absolutely excellent tonight. Declan Rice. I think he was head and shoulders above anyone else, to be honest.
He always is, though, isn't he? I said he never gives less than a 7 out of 10 performance week in, week out. That's another full 90 for him today. He hasn't missed a game in 2 years. You know, he's 22 years old. He's got over 130 games for West Ham. It's unbelievable. Exactly. He just gets better and better. In every game, he's learning. He's learning from, you know, people. There's people out there that still slate Mark Noble, but Declan Rice is still learning from people like Mark Noble. Not doing it on the pitch, but in the training ground. You know, he's got a massive future ahead of him, and I really hope we can just keep hold of him for as long as we can. You know, I'll be gutted the day that if he ever does, when he leaves the club.
Let's be honest. If we keep going the direction that we're heading at the moment, there's no need for him to leave, is there? Let's be honest. Cool.
And this is what I'm saying. Sometimes these young players, not only at West Ham but other clubs down the years, have jumped ship too early and gone and sat on the bench at other big name teams. When Declan Rice now looks around that change room, he's got a good squad, a good manager. He's happy. He's playing week in, week out. You know, he wouldn't play 90 minutes every week for a Chelsea, for a Man United. But at West Ham, he's going to get there. He's got the captain's armband now. He's a leader, and he's 22 years old. He's got the world at his feet at the moment at West Ham. The fans love him. The players love him. He loves the club. It's a good relationship. I just hope that someone bastard don't come in and ruin the relationship.
It was like the commentator said tonight. You know, he said he strolls around the midfield like he's a 7, 8, 9 season veteran. You know, but you forget he's still learning the game. He's going to make mistakes. He gets frustrated with himself a little bit, you see, and I think them little lapses, you know, where he throws his arms in the air because he's disappointed he's done something wrong, things like that. That will come out of his game, and he'll be switched on more, and you know that will improve. His finishing's not, you know, he needs to improve on that. But he admits himself goals of what he's got to add to his game. He was unlucky tonight, really, but. Yeah, there was a couple of times tonight, poor decision-making from a few people. I thought second half, Antonio should have put Yarmolenko through, but he chose to shoot.
I tell you what.
It's just little frustrating things like that where, again, as we've said, picked up before, decision-making sometimes lets us down in that final third. But we can improve on that, and we're still picking up wins. So if we improve on that, the sky's the limit.
You know what? I love Antonio. You know, it was that bit in the second half where he just ran at West Brom and players were bouncing off him. And you know, what a player he's
from the edge of his own box, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah, what a player he's turning out to be. And another great finish from him.
Yep.
Yarmolenko done well at the back post to win the header, and it's another. And that's what he's good at. When he has time to think, that's when he usually mucks up.
Yep.
When you know, when it's instinct, he's on it, and he usually finishes it, and that's another goal for him. You know, he's creeping up to be our
2 winning goals.
And I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again. Soufal, I can't believe he only cost £5 million.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I mean, every game he impresses me since he's been in. At West Ham, I've not seen him. I've never seen him come off that pitch, and I thought to myself, he's had a bad game today. He just does everything right, everything simple, and that's what makes a good defender. Nothing over the top. You know, he sees the ball down the line, you play it. You see someone like Declan Rice in the middle three, you give the ball to him. He defends. He lets the attackers attack. When he has to get up and down that pitch, he does. And he's got himself an assist tonight and another great performance.
But that's the thing.
He scored himself, went close, didn't he?
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's not really, like he said himself, and he's not really a wing back. He is more of a defensive right back, but he gets forward all the time, and he gives us another avenue. You know, we went down the left a hell of a lot tonight. You know, with Criswell, Benrahma and Lanzini all out on that side. There was a few times even Antonio found himself out there, which was a bit worrying because there was then no one making that busting run to the middle. But you know, Soufal, he had a tough ass. That guy, the Polish guy, what was his name? Oh, their winger.
Is it Grzycki or something?
Yeah, he
Grzycki.
Caused him quite a few problems tonight. You know, he was quite pacey and quite strong, but I thought
he was rapid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, they should have got a book in early on when he jumps in with the elbow.
I'll be honest, mate. I thought some of the refereeing decisions, barring that last one, was a joke. That weren't a booking, and especially when you look it back at the replay and he's looking at him, and that's in the first 5 minutes. He's looking at him and then leads with his arm.
Yeah. So I messaged you, didn't I? I went, looks like the ref's going to let him get a few digs in and went without doing anything.
Listen, if that was Andy Carroll doing that, it's a red card. Because he's looking at the player. Yeah, he didn't swing an elbow, but he leads with his arm looking at the player. You know, that's wrong. And then the foul that wasn't a foul that we should have got as well not long after that. I think that's when you messaged me saying, you know, it looks like the referee's going to get away with it.
Also, there was the shout for the penalty as well, wasn't there, on Soucek?
Well, I've watched that back, right? And I was
That's
watching
100% penalty.
Yeah.
He got to the ball first.
That's it.
He doesn't touch the ball first. Soucek gets his foot there. Don was saying to me he don't think it was a penalty. I can't see anything other than a penalty there. He gets his foot to the ball and the geezer comes to the back of his foot. He's the one that initiates that contact for Soucek with the ball. He's the one that knocks it out of play off of his foot. He's the one that knocks him over. How the fuck is that not a penalty? Exactly. I don't know what you have to do in the box.
And the worrying thing as well is the VAR actually looked at that as well.
And also the referee, you know, BT Sport, they have a ex-referee, didn't they? And he turned around and said it's not a clear and obvious mistake, so that's why VAR didn't give it. Well, yeah, exactly. Now, I'll sum this up easily. If we were playing in the colour red tonight and come from towns up north, that would have been given a penalty. To be fair, if that was Chelsea or Arsenal tonight, that would have been a penalty.
I've seen someone fart on Bruno Fernandes and they got a penalty. Exactly. So I don't know.
What's the difference between the Salah penalty that was given against us to that tonight? There's more contact there than was Masuaku done with Salah. And this is, again, the inconsistency and the big team bias that you see within VAR and the big sides. You know, it's pathetic. And as I said, VAR makes a mockery of itself by decisions like that they say isn't a penalty, and then they give the decisions like you've seen when we've played Liverpool, you've seen countless times with the big six sides.
Yeah, 100%, mate. But look,
I'll be honest. I thought their goal was offside.
No,
there was a player offside, but
he wasn't interfering,
obstructing his view. He wasn't obstructing Fabianski's view. It was a good finish. You got to take your hat off. It was a good finish.
I think Fabianski was just putting his hand up for desperation, really, because I don't think he was too in line with it. If he'd have been a bit closer to Fabianski, it might have been, but I think he was too far from him. It was a great finish.
I will say, he was as much in the goalkeeper's eye line as Antonio was last season when we had that goal ruled out against Chelsea.
And as much as we've praised him over the last few games, Dawson was backing off and allowed him to have that shot. So I mean,
that was poor defending. That was the first bit of poor defending. I don't want to see anyone backing off. There's legend that fucking Roger Johnson still backing off from the IR Tour,
I'm sure Roger Johnson went past me on the A13 earlier.
But he's still going, isn't he?
To be honest, you can allow one mistake, and unfortunately, as per usual with a defender,
Scott,
when it's
that was our first goal we conceded in over 7 hours of football. So I'm not going to sit here and moan at Dawson because he's been unbelievable the last 4 games. But when he does something wrong, we got to call it up at him because we praised him so much. So but it was just it was one of them things. They got back into the game, but our heads didn't drop, and that's when David Moyes, and this is where David Moyes should get a lot of credit. That's when he made them substitutions because he see that West Brom was getting on top, and he dragged off Benrahma and Lanzini, put Fornells and Yarmolenko on, as Nicky said, both players that are going to work hard up and down, and especially Fornells. I thought as soon as he come on, he didn't shy away, he wanted the ball, and he played a few good 1-2s with Antonio and Declan Rice. I've got no complaints tonight, really.
Listen, how much in the conversation? I know we're halfway through the season. You can never count your chickens before they hatch and all that. But how much are we in the conversation for them European places?
Well, look at it this way, mate. We finished the season last year on 39 points. We're on 32 points now with 19 games to go. We're 2 points behind Liverpool. after 19 games. 2 points behind
Who'd have
Liverpool.
thought that?
No one
thought
would
that
have
at the
thought
start.
that. So whatever happens now, like if we go on a little bad run and we drop a few places, as long as we don't go 5, 6, 7, 8 games without a win, as long as we keep picking up these wins, we know we're not going to win every game now. We will be in that mix towards the end of the season for top 6. I've got no doubt.
Whatever happens, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. We've put ourselves in a very, very good position going into the second half of the season, and we're in a position now where we can take the FA Cup seriously. We should be taking it seriously every season, but this is a season where we can. We can't look beyond Doncaster. Doncaster is going to be a proper tough game. These lower league teams don't make it easier for us, and we've gone out, I think, in the 4th round the past couple of seasons, haven't we? So it's not going to be easy, but you've got to be looking at it. As I said, this is a team that doesn't know when it's beat. This is a team that on its day can turn any other team over. So
if you want to sound even better, we're only 6 points off top.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And as I said, this season is a funny season. So
and what makes it more exciting as well? We've got Palace next and then Liverpool.
Exactly. This is winnable games. Sorry.
We've got to talk about this, obviously, because it's come out of, it looks like Big Sam's grassed everyone up. And there is now a Premier League investigation into the Robert Snodgrass deal. I mean,
well, technically, it wasn't really Big Sam that grassed everyone up because it was on Twitter before the game that got leaked by Patreon. So, look, if I can't see that there'll be anything done with this, because if the players agreed it and the 2 clubs have agreed it, West Ham have been a bit smart here because they've thought to themselves, right, we play West Brom in a couple of weeks. West Brom are desperate for Robert Snodgrass. Let's put this in the deal. It's not.
What they could have done, mate, is they could have fucking waited till after we played.
Well, this is the thing, right? So when you look at it, it was a case of West Brom wanted the player. We weren't in a position where we had to sell the player. The player wanted to leave to go and play football, but we didn't really want to let him go to play against us. So it's no different as if we were sending Snodgrass there on loan, in my opinion, because if he was going there on loan, we wouldn't be playing. He wouldn't be playing against us. So I don't understand what the big hoo-ha is about it. If it was agreed in principle before the player moved there, and as I said to you before we come on now, it's nothing to do with us. We've asked the question. West Brom have agreed to it. So at the end of the day, if there's any blame anywhere, it's to West Brom.
Yeah, I think it's if the player agrees it and the 2 clubs agree it, what's the problem?
Exactly.
What is the problem?
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. I've got a Premier League rule here, right? So this is the rule that they're investigating. So it's 1.7 of Premier League finance and governance rule, which is no club shall enter into a contract which enables any other party to that contract to acquire the ability materially to influence its policies or performances of its teams in league matches. Right. So the important words here is no club shall enter into a contract which enables any other party. We are any other party in this situation. So the investigation surely and the blame lands on West Brom's
Exactly.
head.
Exactly. They're the ones that have signed that deal. They're the ones that have agreed to that deal. You can't fault a side for asking.
Yeah, but surely every transfer has to go through the Premier League. So they would have seen that. They get people to look through contracts and things like that. It's not a surprise, is it? They must have known about it.
Well, I suppose it all depends, really, whether it's in writing. It might not be in writing. It might be an handshake and a gentleman's agreement,
like a verbal agreement.
Yeah, that's the difference. If it's a verbal agreement, then it's a bit dodgy. It's in writing.
Yeah, but then
to investigate.
Yeah, but then if it's a verbal agreement, there's no proof of it.
There's no proof apart from Fat Sam going, yeah.
Yeah, but I
don't think it puts us in trouble. All that I think a little bit is that it's just unprofessional, isn't it? From our board again, it's something where they ain't looked into something properly, but I can't see if it's gone through Premier League and all of that. I can't see that bit being in writing. I think they've
Yeah, but
if it ain't in writing, then it can't be proved. So,
well, that's it. And that's why Allardyce was smart when the cameras were there. He didn't say anything. You know, when they asked him the question, they turned.
He's probably took a little bung like he did when he was getting the England job.
The thing is, at the end of the day, it's, you know, as I said, West Brom wanted the player. Right? We didn't have to sell the player. We could have said, well, yeah, you can have him, but you're not having him until after you've played us. Then there'd be no.
So where have they picked up this? Do you think that news outlets and Premier League, like, and I'm saying this seriously now, do you think that news outlets and Premier League have picked this up from the in the nose? Because that's where it came from.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but like you say, surely all contracts should, like, they scrutinise all the contracts, don't they? Any deals.
Yeah, but that's
what what I'm saying is there's nothing been proven yet, Gray. What I'm saying is they're investigating it. Now, that news Ryan said earlier, yeah, that news has been leaked by an in the know. Someone in the club, within the club, has turned around and said he won't be playing tonight, and I tell you, X, Y, and Z won't be playing tonight because there's an agreement in place that he can't play against us. Now, that's come leaked through within the club, which has then been leaked to an in the know, which has then leaked it to the fan base, has then leaked it to Twitter. Do you think that at that point the Premier League are looking at it and going, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Looking at it, obviously asked Big Sam them questions earlier on in the game, and he's turned around and went, yeah, there's an agreement, and they think, right, there's obviously some substance to this. Is that an in the know, you know, problem? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know.
That is the problem with leaking stuff, but look, people are so desperate on Twitter to know everything. They can't wait for news to come out. Everyone's got to be the first to leak news and all things like that. And obviously, there is someone still inside the club that is leaking information like that. And if West Ham did, say, for instance, get found guilty and got docked 3 points, and we missed out on the Champions League by 3 points at the end of the season.
The thing is, I'm not going to.
We didn't get docked any points for Tevez and Mascherano, so I'm not really that worried.
You can't.
No, we just nearly got bankrupted.
You can't lay the blame on the in the nose, because at the end of the day, the blame is the person that's leaking the information out of the club. That's the problem. It's not the in the nose fault. They're just doing what they've done with any bit of information that they've been given. They're passing it on, you know. And these people that leak the information to the in the nose, they know exactly what they're doing. So the problem isn't the in the nose; it's the people leaking from the club.
Yeah, but you don't know what the agreements are now. I mean, it's gone from a couple of tweets to, you know, people now paying money to get this information, and is that money being paid to people to give it to them? Like, when there's sort of money involved in that sort of thing,
it's no different. It's no different to a journalist working for a newspaper.
No, absolutely no. I agree. Yeah. I agree. But I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, the thing is, it's all well and good saying, like, yeah, we're interested in this player and it's interested in that player. But when that information then starts to become Premier League investigations, where we could be in trouble, fined money, obviously docked points or whatever, because you don't know what might happen. You never know. I'm just saying, like, you know, it then becomes a problem, doesn't it? Because obviously, if someone's being paid to give that information, and that information is then detrimental to the club, you know, it becomes, I think that's a problem.
But 20 years ago, that person who's leaking the information to the in the nose would have leaked the information to one of the newspapers.
I know. But we can all sit here and cunt off newspapers, but what's the difference?
But in the nose are just basically a gossip column of a newspaper. That's how you got to look at it. It's a modern day gossip column, because they hear information and then let the information out. It's no different to a gossip column in a newspaper. Anyway,
let's cross that bridge if it happens.
I haven't got an opinion either way, to be quite honest with you. That's everyone's whatever. But what I'm saying is it starts to become a problem if there's money change downs for information and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Like, it's as I say, it's all well and good transfer leaks and oh, this is going on, that's going on, this person might be injured, that person might be injured, which a lot of people think, you know, when it comes to sort of team news and all that. But when it's coming down to literally getting you in fucking trouble, I think that starts to become a problem.
Is it basically what you're saying is there's certain things that if they are leaked are not detrimental to the club, but there are other things that are and probably shouldn't be leaked.
Well, no, they shouldn't.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, there shouldn't be any leaks coming out of the club whatsoever. But if you're leaking something that's not going to affect the club, then yeah, so be it. But if you're leaking something that may affect the club, then maybe from a West Ham fan point of view, you shouldn't leak that.
Well, the thing is, the blame. I think Ryan's right. The blame ultimately lies on West Ham because,
massively, 100%.
Because you know they've had so many chances, and people have been telling them for fucking years, you know, stop these fucking things getting out of the club, you know, and we know, sort of like, what's the word? I put it in quoted. We know, allegedly, that the chairman is one of the people that leak information. So,
that's it. But you know, it is what it is. You need to stop the source of the problem. The people putting it out there are not the problem. It's the people that are leaking it in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, let's celebrate the fact we've got another 3 points tonight, another win. We're like 7th in the table, 32 points, and the only way is up for West Ham at the moment.
We can look forward to the cup game on Saturday now.
They needed to distract Big Sam. They should have put a bar full of gravy behind him and some chicken floating in it. He'd have been lapping it up like an horse.
Yeah,
I don't think
I've got to admit though, like I've obviously since Big Sam's come in, I remember the first few games they were getting battered. They got battered like 5 whatever at home to Leeds, 4-0 at home to Leeds. But the last 2 games, like Wolves on Saturday and today, he has got on well drilled. And do you know what? It wouldn't surprise. I mean, if they had won tonight, there'd only been 2 points in the relegation zone, you know, getting out of it. So, you know, a couple more wins, and he's. Did you see that they've inquired about 250 players?
Yeah,
crazy. You know,
I thought we were scattergun. Fuck me, that's something else, isn't it?
The thing now. I mean, look at our season. It's all set up now for us to have a decent season. We've had some shit last 3 seasons. You know, relegation battles and that. It's all set up now. We've got Doncaster in the cup on Saturday. We get through that. We play either Liverpool, United. I'll be honest, not worried about playing them. You know, we carry on going how we are in the league. We try to get 1 or 2 players in the next week, you know, because we're desperate for a striker. It proved it tonight. You looked at the bench. We didn't have a striker on there. We didn't have an out-and-out striker on there. Yes, Yarmolenko ended up playing up front at the end of the game. But, you know, if Antonio goes down again, we are screwed. So we need to get 1 or 2 players in. I think we will. I think they're working on it. I think, do you know what? I think that the more we're winning and where we are in the league, I think that it helps us out with players looking to come into the club, because there's probably players there now speaking to their agents saying, look, I know West Ham are after a striker, you know, get in contact with the club. So let's hope that we can get someone in.
Yeah, it was a bit
who's the lad from Sevilla? Who's the lad from Seville was after?
Oh, fuck no.
The commentator said we put a bid in for some. I can't remember.
Yeah, we ain't getting him. Don't worry about that. We ain't going to pay that money. Don't be silly.
Well, you know, this shows how ambitious we are this season. If we was to go and pull off a signing like that, I mean, you've seen the things in the paper today about the strikers we've had down the years at West Ham under Golden Sullivan. 49 strikers, and we've spent over 250 odd million on them. You know, and it hasn't worked out for any of them really. So you never know. Number 50 might be the lucky one. Bullseye.
Got to get it right. The thing is, that's the thing. In that you've had decent strikers who have had poor injury records, the likes of Sacco, Carroll. You know, it's just sometimes the players don't fit the club. We've had players there that do, but they get injured a lot. A bit like Antonio. You know, Antonio. You take his injury, if he didn't have as many injuries as he's had, he would have had a lot more goals to his belt.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've gone off the game, but one player I thought had a brilliant game today was Creswell. And you know, getting up and down some of the balls. Do you know what I noticed about Creswell lately? He's playing with a smile on his face. You go back to last season, he always sort of had his head down. He didn't look like he wanted to be on the pitch. Now he's playing with confidence, a smile on his face, and that's what wins does. That's what David Moyes has come in and done. He's put his arm around these players and give them a confidence to, you know, show. You know, Creswell at the moment, the form he's in. You know, I know England. You know, they've got so many, but he's knocking on the door for me with his performances. There's no reason why him and players like Bowen shouldn't be pushing to try to get in.
The thing is as well, mate. So is Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio. Obviously, Declan Rice is there already, but we're getting a good core of players at West Ham. So it's about building.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It just worries me with Moyes' comments saying that, you know, basically saying we're no closer to signing a striker, and if we don't get one, we'll make do.
Yeah, but he's not going to say that we are.
No, I know that, but he shouldn't be saying if we don't get one, we'll make do, because that worries me a little.
To be fair, Scott, if we don't get one, he's got to make do, isn't he?
Oh yeah, of course yes. Look, we got the young kid, but as I said before, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on that young kid's shoulders. But you know, we need somebody. We need a backup if he breaks down.
I'm confident.
If there was ambition there, they would go out and find one that he wants and pay the money for him. I just can't see it, to be honest with you. I can see us getting someone in, but I don't think it'd be this sort of like this future superstar that everyone's thinking about. I hope I'm wrong, but we've 11 years yesterday since they've took over the club. You know, I think I know the answer to that all too well, you know, and this all. I think it was a bit of a message from Moyes today, not putting Udubeko on the bench. He's sort of saying to the ball like he's not quite ready yet, and all of this sort of thing. But you know, the thing is, like with it, I know this sounds stupid, and it all goes back to the Haller again. And I don't want to keep on bringing him up because you know he's gone now. But I think we look a better side without him.
Yeah, we do because we've got Antonio back, and Antonio fits the mould of the striker that we need, and the way Moyes plays. As said, the amount of times I defended Haller, and I still defend him now, we didn't play to his strengths, so it's not going to work. So he gave up the ghost, and he was playing because Antonio was injured. Then he's gone. You know, at the end of the day, we can't keep relying on Antonio. We need backup. This is the thing now. We're in a good position. We want to push on. Everybody, Moyes says the right things in in all of his interviews, or how we're building something. We're trying to change the dynamic of the club, trying to change the way this club's run. So now it's time for them two upstairs to put their hands in their deep pockets and pull out a bit of money and back the manager and let him fulfil the ambitions that he's got, which will then match the ambitions of the young captain that we've got at the moment, and keep him at a club and push us to where we should be.
Is Udubeko got COVID?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think a few people have said it, but I think when people ain't in the squad now or on the bench, that's the first thing you think of, isn't it? So I don't know, but
hopefully, I'd like to see him against Doncaster.
Yeah, we move on to Saturday, another big game. You know, you can take your eye off the league for a week, and you know it's a home game against Doncaster. We'll have a lot of the ball. We'll have a lot of room on Saturday. It won't be like it was at Stockport, and hopefully we get through. I don't care if it's another 1-0 win. Don't bother me. I'll take 1-0 wins all day long.
Yeah. If it meant we got the cup in our hands at the end of the season, you don't care if it's 1-0 all the way.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Just to let you know, Leicester are still beating Chelsea 2-0, so that looks like.
And they had one ruled out for offside as well, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks like we're going to stay above Chelsea tonight. And who spent 200 million in the summer? Well, us. I can tell you that for free. Can we leave it there, boys? Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's it, mate.
Yeah,
covered everything.
I think we covered it all, haven't we?
Absolutely. Happy?
Perfect.
Very.
Yes, very happy. Very happy.
Very.
Listen, I know it weren't pretty tonight, and I know it's a bit messy and all that, but you know, when you're trying to build a team like him, and you know, I think you got to understand as well a little bit that it's, you know, Moyes' way of stripping the positive back, stripping the stripping the interior before he refits. He's more than earned himself a chance to, mold the team how he wants. He's done good jobs, decent jobs with other people's sides, imbalanced sides. We look more balanced. We look more solid. We look more confident. We're winning games that I wouldn't say we didn't deserve to win tonight, but we've seen us lose them before. He gets a song out of what he's got. If you can get some players in that he wants, I think he's earned that right. And the next thing is getting him signed up to a new contract for the next couple of years to let that project keep on going. I think, to be fair, he's proved a lot of people wrong. I think he needed to do that for himself, because he was becoming the sort of forgotten man of football. He was so highly rated when he left Everton for Man United. That job went rubbish. Then he went to a poison chalice at Sunderland. I don't care. You could have had fucking Pep Guardiola take over there. I don't think he could have saved them. And he took, it was a wrong decision there. Then he went abroad, which was another wrong decision, and he was in trouble of being lost. He was one of them. He was nearly another Kerbishley, or one of them managers that lose a big job and never get picked up again. But he's still showing that he can mould a team, and he can. I think it's a much about rebuilding his reputation as it is anyone else. He lost a lot of stock. Yeah,
and like you said, he's stripped us to the core, and he stripped us back to the foundations, and he's trying to build us up again. So
and that's all we ever wanted from any manager.
Yeah,
that's all we ever wanted from any manager.
Identity, mate. That's what.
Some people didn't want to give him a chance. Some people still don't want to give him a chance. But look, I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think he's done a great job the first time he come in, done what he's asked to. I think since he's come back to the club, I've noticed the big changes, not only in the results but just the players' attitude. And that's a main thing for me. If the players have got the right attitude, you're going to get results.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
The results don't lie.
That's it, mate.
Great, your hips don't lie.
But they're knackered, yeah.
Small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains.
It's a picture of Whistler's mother.
I'll tell you, I'm happy tonight. I'm looking at the next game. 3 points next game. It's going to be huge. And we're in the conversation, and that's all you can ask. It's all you can ask.
We got Crystal Palace away next, didn't we, in the league?
Yeah.
And we usually do all right at Selhurst Park. They do well at us. We do well there. So hopefully another 3 points. Listen, we could be going into that game against Liverpool at the end of the month, level on points with them, and overtake them. Imagine how massive that'd be. I don't want to get too far ahead of itself, but fuck it.
It's just beating him with a shout, doing it.
Beat him in the FA Cup. We're fucking.
Because this time last year, I was sitting here going, "Oh, I hope we stay up. I really hope we stay up."
But this is it. This is why we've got to enjoy it. That's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, we can, as we said, we can beat anybody. So there's no reason our next 3 games we can't win all our next 3 games.
Scott, we're going to win the fucking league. I'm joking. I'm joking. Do you know what? It's just, as I said, it's nice to have a bit of positive at the moment, especially with what's going on in the world. As we said the other day, football, it just takes your mind off it for a little while. And, we're all happy. There's a lot of West Ham fans happy on social media, which West Ham social media sometimes is not a happy place. People argue with each other. But now, look, we're all happy. We're going to...
I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. It's one of them lost chance, yeah. I sang the song. You remember the Mikel Antonio song when he came from Forest, and people loved it, and they'd never heard it before. Scott, have you ever heard it before?
Yeah.
I've
Mikel Antonio.
I don't think I've ever heard it sung at home. I've only heard it away.
Yeah, you only hear, we only hear most of the songs sung away, Scott. At
They
home,
thought, they thought I was some sort of lyrical genius. They thought I'd made it up on the spot, but I didn't. I promise you.
you should have done it. You should have said, "Yeah, I just made that up."
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's post-match pint. We'll be back again, obviously, on Saturday for the FA Cup game against Doncaster. I nearly said Stockport then, but we've already beat them. And then we'll be back again, obviously, on Tuesday for the game against Crystal Palace. You can go and check out all the fan cams right now to watch along with Dom, which we've done earlier on. There'll be something coming up tomorrow morning for the Patreons. Apart from that, one thing left to say, boys.
Come on,
you Irons. I can't wait for West Ham.